flow, don't you know? That's the way he is. He's kind of like that. A crotchety old critter in kind of a way. Stubborn as all get out, wouldn't you say? Because he's only going to have it one way, and that's with love, man. No other way will be, because love is the way we see, be, create, and feel, and be real in our imagination. And in that imagination, create the paradise, the dream we've so long awaited and held in our heart, till these days that we've anticipated, where we can actually and literally now stand bare and nakedly on top of the hill and declare our heart to everyone. And they'll feel the will of that loving heart, the flow, the massive tidal wave of love, don't you know? Takes them all down, evens them all out, and evens the score really fast, baby. It's called the nuclear explosion at last. And it comes on really, really fast. It's got a lot of power. It's got a lot of momentum. It's the awakening, wouldn't you say, to the new and exciting, quite divine way, which is as old as the hills and twice as dusty. In fact, it's so old it's moldy and musty. Whew. But we burned that shit away real quick, wouldn't you say, as our heart and mind and soul come into play in unity, finally, after all this time and all these generations and all the experience therein. God, what a horror story we can tell. And what a paradisical tale to go right along with it, eh? Because there's been love within it all along the way, as we've demonstrated to ourselves again and again as we go through the shit that we create in this reality to test the heart to its maximum extent, wouldn't you say? I certainly would. It's been in that field that I've had to play, and I know you're no exception, babies. We're all getting that heart, the real love, underway. Just starting to understand how it is that we play this love, how it is that it plays us and works us through the worst dynamics to the most blessed place there could ever be, the home of the heart, living in the city of light quite naturally. Led there, of course, by a little pack of coyotes, wouldn't you say? Because always do the coyotes lead the way, because the coyotes are the heart, the soul, and the cosmic joke of this reality. Not everyone's known that, not everyone's been that, yet all are in that. And all are living in that way, that form of love. You know, creation is the coyote, man. And the coyote is in the creation. It's the mystical realm of the magical heart of creation, given in this angelic way, to our comic nature. We're always pulling the joke on ourselves. We always get it front to back. So we can get back to the front, don't you see? The front of our peaceful, truthful, ever-loving, synchronistic, harmonically coagulated creation, don't you see? That's you, that's me, the blossoming flowers of love coming forward quite naturally. Letting go of the agonies and the pains that we've known there, you know, inside our brain, inside our heart, inside our physicality. The distant separation, the one love that just, wow, seemed unattainable. That as if the magic of that dream would never come forward, yet we had these powerful moments, you know, of awakening, of awareness, which, through the sad and sorry experience of the subsequent events, we came to know ourselves far more deeply and far more pleasantly, and became far more confident in ourselves than we ever were before. Finally, we started to awaken to the fact of the power of our loving heart. That not only can it get you through anything, any loss or separation or, you know, rapage of your person in one form or another, anything. Because you find the blessing in everything. You find the blessing in the feelings you're living with, in what's tried you and tested you to the max, as well as what's propped you up and helped you along. They're simultaneous energies, you know. Means they're like the same thing. Really, one's an expression this way, one's an expression that way, but they go together, they flow together to that singular point in this reality where all joins in singularity. Singularity, yeah, single-uality. Single duality. It's actually a triality, as we come to see, as we live in the love, the conscious presence that unites every heart. Quite intimately, too, I might say. You know, we know one another more than you'd ever dare to even admit to yourself. We're seen and known. We wear our lives like a Technicolor movie. It surrounds us. It's our auric field. It's the energy of our life radiating. And it's the happy dance through all of it. The joy that you feel in the most miserable moments. The moments of agonizing pain when, you know, your brain just can't wrap itself around the heart. Just can't understand it, you know. Why does it do this to itself? Why does it love those who cannot love in return, that only know pain and suffering and violence and shit like that? And we get ourselves in some situations, don't we? But just like the steady rowboat pilots that we are, man, we just, chug on through each and every time, baby. And then comes that magic moment where it's all gone and it's all found. That moment of the most empty becomes the moment of the most profound, awakening, opening experience you've ever seen. Because suddenly you do start to blossom in that experience. It took the gritty pain of hell to get you there, babies. The deep soil of life, nurtured by the bullshit of reality, of the unreality in which we've lived. The grittiness, the darkness, the shit. Yes. The stuff that tempers down into the richest soil there could be, from which the blossoming flowers of humanity arise. And babies, there has never been such a blossoming. But there will be ever again, because we're repeating it and replicating it everywhere as we begin to feel and approach our life in creative ways with such zeal. Of course, man, it starts to spread. The nuclear explosion doesn't stop here with you and I and the rest of this planetary reality. It expands outward from there. See, it's the gigantic orgasm, the orgasmic beginning of creation, the orgasmic beginning that goes on forever, spreading itself throughout that creation, replicating itself in billions and gazillions of different ways all the time, and always consistent in the loving expression that it is, no matter what form it takes. Wow. Takes a bit to be doing that, to be living in that, to know that space, to love that space, and to wear it like that is your crown, because it is. That's your reward. You become the royalty, the ruler of this reality, in the sense that creation, the very thing that you live in, is created through you. That is your inclination. Your attitude creates the experience in which you live. And if you need to live, to live yourself beyond aggravation and pain, you'll give yourself a little more of it so that you'll find the gain and move on. If you're deep in frustration, well, there's a little more, and then you're out the door. You've had enough. You even the score. You find the heart in this matter. And you see the common sense way to your own heart, to your own truth, to living this loving expression that takes you everywhere you need to be and gives you the experiences that most fully empower not only yourself, but all those that surround you. This creation benefits greatly from every breath you take, every feeling, every little thought, every little emotion that we experience. The benefit is compounded greatly throughout the reality. Again, that's another reason why we line up at the door as soul presences to get in here and be babies again. Because, man, alive, it's a rich experience. And we're like literally at the center of creation, where we can benefit everybody just by letting a little blessing come forward in ourselves. That's how significantly powerful we are. But then again, this is something that's shared with all elements of creation. You know, it's not something that sets us apart or makes us any more special than everything. Yes, we are divinely special. We are the royalty, the ruler of creation. And our attitude is the rule by which creation emerges. Our basic inclination, our intention. And only you can see that. Only you can live that in your own personal way. Yet you see and feel the participation of all of creation with you, you see. Because in the personal way comes the mightier way, the grander way, the truthful way. And it's your personal experience of the massive experience of the entire universe, given in little dramatic plays we live that we call life. You see? Through us, any inequity in this universal creation, as we call it, is equitized. Because we see inside of ourselves the uniformity of love in all of that creative activity, no matter how hard or tough it might be. No matter if we emerge bruised and battered, it don't last long, babies. When you're singing the heart song, a bruise disappears in a moment. And you're never battered, you know. I mean, you don't feel it. It goes away. It's not there. You're living a real life. It's full of love. You're not battered. You're not bruised. You've taken on another's pain because they couldn't handle it. You're a saint, not a stupid ass. You're a brilliant heart in motion. You know how to purify and transform energies others can't even handle yet. Don't even know they have. It's so difficult that, you know their heart. You know how bad it is. That's why you keep going back there. But you don't have to. You've done it once. You've done it forever. You don't have to take it again, you see. You just get into these attitudes of self-punishment because of some strange programming we got that says love must be expressed and experienced, especially in the dynamic of two. Huh. How about that? Well, babies, that doesn't mean I'm going to let somebody beat the crap out of me now, does it? No. I can be loving enough to let go of that experience and give it back to that heart that suffers so that its pain can only exude out of itself and harm others. You know, this person has to learn their lessons too, and you just give them all the creative love they need to get it. So you don't repeat that experience. You don't go back there again. Once is plenty. You know, in fact, once should never be enough. It should never happen, right? Well, basically, as we begin to see the beginning, to feel that orgasmic, contented sigh of creation coming forward within us, all that's been done is undone. And there is no savagery left. And there never really was. Kind of funny how those white Europeans come in here all so savage and start calling the red persons around them savages just because they didn't understand. Can you imagine the fact if those tribes, when they began to reunite, had been a little more cooperative with one another, the world we might be living in now? Because that's our truthful reality, see. There is no real division, and people don't feel that in experience. They experience that in a mindset that's given you by the surroundings you're raised in. And it takes some real doing to over-assume your culture, your cultural conditioning. It does. But I've seen Bubba do it. I know you can do it too. I know you are doing it. That we're superseding all the negaties in our heart. All that negates our pleasantry, our richness, all that takes away from us. We negate the negated. You understand what I mean? It's over with. We're healing the substance of our ever-loving heart by allowing it to feel itself again. We're no longer afraid of that feeling, that massive love, the one that so scared us away from others before, because we overload. Yeah, you couldn't let go of the fascinating love, could you? Because that love lived inside of you despite what another might do with it. You see, it was pure and uniform all the way. And now you're beginning to realize it, to live it in this way. And that's very Coyote, wouldn't you say? Not Heyoka, doesn't mean it's backwards. It's just quite the funny little joke. Kind of, ironic, kind of biting satire. It hurts a wee bit, yet it's so liberating to see it and to be it. Just another one of the little gifts we share here as we take to the air in that Coyote way each and every day, Monday through Friday, on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network, don't you know? Now, if you're ready to take the next step in your own personal empowerment, you're feeling, that this is great unity here, but there's a little something more you need to get into, there's more experience you got to process, whatever. You want to get down private and personal with it, where you can really deal with it. Well, babies, that's the next step. And the next step leads you right to, Grandpa Coyote's private YouTube channel that we're putting up real soon. I'll have the stuff up here in the next day or two. It takes me a bit. I'm a busy guy, but I'll get her done. It'll be like a subscription channel, be like about $25 a month. But that's a way that the listeners can support us, and also we can serve you in a more deep and divine way that I really can't even reveal here today. It just goes to these levels that most folks just couldn't endure right now, so we don't share that just yet. But if we can get a small group of lovers in that little group, inside of a private chat room, inside Grandpa's private YouTube channel, then we got the family reassembled, and cosmically we have a whole heart there. And we can do these things that are necessary to bring this form of consciousness to everybody. In other words, it's kind of a gateway. It's kind of an opening. Just like the Lion's Gate or the full moon was. These are points of transition, areas of transition. Areas where certain figureheads take the energy for all and more or less lead the way by allowing the experience for themselves. By going through what others can't even conceive of just yet, you see. That's what we'll share in this kind of private sort of way. There'll only be 6 to 10, maybe 12 participants in the chat room at one time. I'll keep the numbers limited so we can keep it real. And we can go to those deeper levels that we can't reveal here because it's too damn personal. And we can let go of any other, Romanian guardianship, and we can let ourselves be real in that tiny little chat room where we unite. And babies, we're creating there the reassemblage of the human heart. Amongst us is 5 or 6 or 10 beings, whatever we are. We're recreating the whole reality. We're giving it substance and form, in other words. It's not just an elusive dream, that we, hope and wish from our imagination that it should be present. No, this is the reality. Same way it is here, just another level of it. Coming together. The truth reapproving itself and bringing itself into reality, which is the reality. Truth is the reality. The other is an illusion. But we've chosen the illusionary way because we could get through the pain that way without really having to harm everybody in the universe, though all of them have participated with us in this experience. But in that coyote way where they were very protected from harm. They were more like the TV viewer, watching us, and we were more like Truman in the Truman Show. Every little move, every little nuance, deeply felt and appreciated, and indeed a nurturing love coming from that universe, from the appreciation. Each of the individual characters in it and all the collectives that are. See, we're the first personal applications in reality that are allowed to be and feel as persons, a singular unit. Because that's the consciousness of the divine presence. And not everyone could handle it just yet. So we had to kind of remanufacture the conception of it in this divine dreaming way. That's the earth experience in its totality right there. The remanufacturing of life to a feeling, conscious, personal presence. That's what we offer here each and every day in that coyote way, and in the deeper way on Grandpa Coyote's private YouTube channel in the chat room there. And we'll do this once or twice a week, but there'll be all kinds of little bennies in there too, stuff you get to see ahead of everybody else and so forth. Because we'll treat our friends really good, because they've treated us good. See, it's a mutual sharing. You pay this little subscription, you're in like Flynn, babies, and we're flying real high. Because we're together in it, you and I, and we just acknowledge it in this way and allow ourselves to then be more open and go to the more deeply expressed and experienced places so that others can prepare themselves and become that too. See, again, the nuclear explosion, it replicates in 1, 2, 3, 10, 12, and then it just expands out from there in greatly exponential numbers. They just keep expanding and growing, and everybody catches on. Because brave souls will pioneer the territory where no one else will go. They can't conceive of it. They can't live a dangerous life like that. They can't even handle the sense of danger they feel now living in the world. You see? So somebody has to temper that feeling in the collective, and so some do. Some take it on themselves to be that self. and to be the presence others cannot be consciously just yet, because the consciousness goes deeper than what we see and feel. It's real. And it's at the center of all of our experience. So what we're doing by taking these stages and steps in this way is just leading ourselves into it. The full awareness of the presence in all. Pretty simple, really, when it comes right down to it, yet so difficult to achieve because our allowance says it can't be, but yet our dream says it is. And there we are living in the full presence of that dream, because we finally allow ourselves to step past any doubts and reservations by living it. I mean, if it proves itself, it is. And if it proves itself again, it is. And if it proves itself again, it is. And so it is, and so it shall always be. So says Grandpa Coyote here, quite delightfully, as we climb on the old peace train of love with Cat Stevens here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on this divine network known as the Hazy Radio Network, where Grandpa can be found each and every day, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Mountain, 4 a.m. Pacific, here with the Coyote Medicine Show, your morning wake-up call. Don't you know, babies? Ooh, big hugs all the way around.